Okay, let's dive into an explainer that is going to totally flip how you think about economic migration. Moving away for a better job, we usually celebrate that, right? We see it as this huge personal win. But here's the wild part. What if your personal escape is exactly what corrupt politicians are secretly praying for?
100,000. That is a massive number. That is how many Italians packed up their entire lives and fled in 2014 alone. They were chasing better jobs, a better life, and honestly, they probably found it.
We absolutely love these stories. We cheer for the hustle. But here is the brutal, totally counterintuitive truth. The young escape, the old politicians laugh, and the city dies. You think getting out of a broken hometown fixes the problem? Actually, the data shows it hands the keys right back to the exact same people who ruined the place.
Let's look at Section 1, the scene of the crime, Italy's exodus. So right after the 2008 financial crash, Italy suffered this massive demographic bleed-out. Look at this chart. As unemployment shot up, the historical average of 50,000 people leaving every year didn't just slowly rise. It violently doubled. 100,000 people a year. They weren't just migrating, they were literally running from a burning building.
But we kind of have to ask who exactly was running. Well, it definitely wasn't random. As you can see here, it was almost exclusively people under 45 and highly college-educated folks. The brightest, most capable, high-energy minds were the very first ones out the door.
Moving to Section 2, the detective game, Proving the Damage. Now, how do we actually prove that this specific brain drain caused the political rot? Like, maybe it was just a coincidence, right? Well, researchers used a brilliant data trick. Step 1, they mapped out old 1990s expat networks. Step 2, they identified which of those European destination countries had economic booms after 2009. Step 3, they calculated a pure opportunity to flee score for every single town. Basically, if your town had historical ties to a booming place like Germany, you had an easy exit ticket. If not, you were stuck.
Which brings us to Section 3, the cruel price of staying behind.
So what actually happens to the locals left behind when all the brightest kids bolt? The data shows a rapid, honestly terrifying political decay. Look at the before and after. Before the escape, you've got a fairly balanced town council. But after, the leadership ages almost instantly. They are visibly less educated. Progressive voices and women, they essentially vanish from city councils. The old boys club takes total, unquestioned control.
Let's break down the exact cost here. A tiny 1% drop in population seems like nothing, right? Wrong. The damage is absolutely catastrophic. Just a 1% spike in immigration plunges the share of female mayors by 7 to 8 percentage points. It boosts votes for the entrenched status quo parties by 3.6%, and it completely crushes any anti-establishment reform parties by 6%. Every single person who leaves is literally handing a gift to the ruling class.
And check out this insanely shocking stat, plus 6%. A 1% spike in people leaving actually increased the probability of a whole municipal council getting dismissed for corruption or extreme inefficiency by 6%. Really let that sink in. You leave town for a better job, and your hometown gets objectively more corrupt. Oh, and the rot spreads way beyond just politics. What about local business, entrepreneurship? It is dead on arrival. Net firm creation absolutely plummets. I mean, it makes sense, right? When you lose the young, educated minds, you lose the exact people who build businesses. The town stops inventing. It just stops growing.
Let's hit Section 4, Exit versus Voice, the ultimate choice.
This whole situation perfectly illustrates a devastating, universal theory about human behavior. It's from a political scientist named Albert Hirschman. It's called exit versus voice. Basically, when citizens are fed up, they have two options: leave, which is exit, or stay and fight for reform, which is voice. The golden rule here? High exit guarantees low voice. When the smartest locals have an easy ticket to London or Berlin, they take their voice right with them. They leave absolutely nobody behind to shout at the incompetent mayors.
And this isn't just an Italy problem. This is a massive global pattern. Think about East Germany during the Cold War, or Cuba's socialist regime, or Mexico to US migration. Autocratic and flawed regimes secretly love it when their loudest, most capable critics just cross a border. The troublemakers leave, the pressure drops, and the corrupt regime survives totally untouched.
Now, to be perfectly fair, we do need to critique this research a bit. The data brilliantly captures that short-term rot, but it leaves this massive blind spot, the unmeasured future. What if those elites actually return one day? If they come back a decade later, bringing foreign wealth, new skills, and a fierce demand for better standards, well, the long-term story might actually turn into one of incredible revitalization.
But until that hypothetical future actually arrives, the data leaves us with a pretty chilling realization. When fleeing is the easiest choice, who pays the ultimate price for tomorrow? Running away might absolutely save your career, but it virtually ensures the home you left behind is ruled by the exact people who ruined it. So I'll leave you with this. What would you do? Stay and fight or pack your bags? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.